Mission Pro Wrestling, the symbol of excellence in women's sports entertainment.
What's up, Mission Pro fam? It is your spotlight shining upon you like a awesome sauce Sauron finding the ring of Frodo. I don't know, something like that, but it is Mind Runner right here. And my Legolas to my Gimli, Angel Marie is in the house. What's going on, Angel?
Hey, I'm freaking excited for this episode. It's going to be fun. Hope you guys all are in here, and I think we should get the show started.
I think we should. We got Miss Courtney, the evil queen of heels, the most dastardly heel queen, and of course Pepe Petite is in the house as well. Pepe always stay hydrated and sometimes stay carbohydrated. Anyways, we got a lot to cover, and swimming her way to us this at the top of the hour is La Pescadita herself, Lili Ruiz. She's going to be joining us here with her, all the stuff going on with her life, and we've got the banger of the week we got to report on. But first, what a week! What a time to be a wrestling fan! What time to be a women's wrestling fan! It is time for the week in wrestling news. Let's see what's going on. All right. Well, first off, it was announced official. There is a new title for the women's division. And Angel Marie, somebody was wishing for this, was manifesting this belt. Somebody I know, I think on this very show, was manifesting that we should have a United States Championship. Who was that, Angel Marie?
I don't know, but I think that they also wrote like a whole school essay on why they needed women's mid-card titles, specifically a U.S. title. I don't really remember who that was. Yeah, I remember something about that.
I hear she's a fan of Tatum Paxley, so I think so. But that's what manifestation has. Like this, if you want proof that the powers that be, that all the big bookers listen to Mission Pro Spotlight, Tony Khan, Triple H, everybody, Gail Kim, everybody's listening to Mission Pro Spotlight, because from Angel Marie's essay to the desk of Nick Aldis, we have the United States Women's Championship, and already the internet and interwebs are abuzz of potential who should be the first to win. I put just a handful of people on there of some of the hot suggestions. Angel Marie, who do you feel should be the inaugural United States champion, and how do you think they should determine it? Should it be tournament? Should it be a battle royal? How should they do? Should they do a Continental Classic? What do you think they should do to determine the champion?
So first off, who I think should definitely become the U.S. Women's Champion. She's been through a lot. She's so extravagant. I think it should be me.
Oh,
but I digress.
You got a Mission Pro title to win first. Then you
sorry, Izzy. I have to take your title one day. Okay. We'll get to that one day. We'll get to that when the day comes. But for realsies, honestly, there's like so many women in the division that like deserve it. And like there's like so many names that are on there, like Chelsea, Naomi, Bailey, even Roxanne Perez. Like Roxanne isn't even on the main roster yet. And yet people still think that she should go up and get the U.S. Championship, which I do really agree with that. Like, that'd be really cool, but I cannot pinpoint it down to, like, one woman who I'd want to get it, just because there's so much talent in them, like, that can hold on to that championship. I mean, I hope that all of them one day will be able to hold on to the prestigious title, but obviously that won't happen. But I don't really know who I would want to win it. I mean, probably like Naomi, honestly. I really
Yeah.
love Naomi. Naomi or Chelsea for sure. I mean, with Chelsea's gimmick too, like it's hilarious. I love Chelsea. Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
for as to how they should win it, I would say honestly, like you said, bring the Continental Classic to SmackDown.
Yes. I
Like
mean,
that'd be really cool.
it works for the men in AEW. I mean, I'm surprised we
Mhm.
haven't had a women's Continental Classic in AEW yet.
Right?
But do it. Why not do it in WWE? It looks like the chat is very mixed. We've got Pepe's for Mishin. Grim is for Lyra Valkyria. Steven just says, hello, MPW Universe. Hello, hello. Courtney is also with Mishin, a.k.a. Mia Yim, in a ladder match. Ooh. I have to agree with Grim that Lyra is overdue for a title,
For sure.
to hold the title. I think that would be very cool. I've got mad love for, I keep calling her Trinity, but Naomi.
Yeah.
I think I always enjoy titles better when a heel has them, especially a heel like Chelsea Green, because then the chase is so delicious. Like, and I'm all for it. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about some feuds need to end, like a certain Liv versus Rhea, but the Chelsea Mishin, there's still meat on the bone with that, I think, and Chelsea would be a great heel champion for others to chase after. I think Naomi would be great. I think Bayley's already had main championships, so I think it should be somebody that hasn't been a main champion before. Needs to, but I would be super happy if Lyra won. I'm definitely for Mishin, and I think it'd be interesting if Roxy eventually leaves NXT, comes up to the main roster. They could almost do it like when Paige beat AJ Lee.
Yes.
Like, almost do something where like you could have Naomi, Mishin, Chelsea and Lyra all feuding for it. Finally, somebody wins. They're gloating about the championship, and then you hear Roxy's music. Now, when Roxy does eventually go main roster, does she go as a heel or does she go as a babyface?
Ooh,
What do you think?
I don't know, because usually what you want to do when you first get on the main roster is get yourself over for sure. And I'm not saying that heels can't get over, because obviously heels can get over, right?
Yep.
But like faces, that's what they usually do with people who come up to the main roster, is they usually turn them face, but then some of them do stay heel. So I mean, I'd like to see Roxy stay heel, because I mean she's been doing great as a heel, and I mean I feel like she could definitely like have some little back sass with like Chelsea or something like that. I feel like that'd be just like, that'd be amazing.
I agree. Now, and again, the one of the things I love about in a lot of areas is where they don't change their personality. Like Roxanne could be a babyface, but still have that spice that she has as a heel. There's been very few that have debuted as heels before without, but like Jericho had a classic heel debut way back in 1999 when he debuted in front of The Rock, and he interrupted The Rock segment. It was a great back and forth. Stephen Green in the chat's got a great point. He goes, Roxanne may lose her NXT championship to Julie or Stephanie before she. Yep, I think that's exactly what's happening. And you notice the shifts. Like, Kaylani is she's lost her North American. There seems to be kind of a ladder shift, and I think that's exactly right. Stephanie or Julia, boy, we got to talk about all of that. I agree. I love all the ideas. I love, and Pepe agrees. The ladder match would be phenomenal.
That would be
I'd be fine with Mishin, Naomi, or Chelsea, but it's going to be cool to watch. But as you predicted, the need has been filled. We have our mid-card United States Championship for and a championship is as value as make it. I think it's long overdue for all these ladies. Let's put some gold on them. All right, so let's talk talk a little NXT. And we do have some WWE news, but really the big announcement was that Dakota Kai is back with Damage Control. You can see I love the evil smile on Kairi Sane's face.
Yes.
But really, other than that, there's just more Liv and Rhea. I don't know. I think it's time to move on. I would love to see Lash Legend versus Rhea Ripley someday. So let's book that sometime, please. But that's another whole other conversation. Your thoughts on NXT and WWE this past week?
Yeah, I love the picture that you put in there of Soul on top of Corbin. I was like, I love whenever Soul does that. That's like one of my favorite things from her is when she just gets on the back. I'm a surfer. You know, like that's so fun. I love Soul. And yeah, and NXT and was awesome. And Raw was awesome in its own way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, like we said, there's a certain feud that should maybe stop soon. Please.
Yeah. It's just we let nothing but love for them, but
yes, for sure, love. Also someone that I love for sure is Dakota Kai. I'm so hyped that she's back. I miss Dakota so much, and I'm like, whenever she just walks in, I'm like, and like I was babysitting at the time, so I couldn't be screaming and yelling, right? Because then the kid's gonna start screaming and yelling. So I was like, oh my god, Mom, I'm dying on the inside right now. I know I'm not screaming, but trust me, I am dying on the inside. It was so hard to keep myself calm and cool and collected, but I was so happy Dakota was back, honestly.
Big pop. I'm with Pepe on Sol Ruca. She just, her fun just translates. You know, she's one of those that and she's so awesome athletic in the ring. Like that soul bomb or whatever she does, where she does like a flip off the thing. I'm like, it's amazing. I'm
soul
looking
snatch.
forward to her moving up. She could be another one, you know, moving up, maybe possibly going. I'd love to see her go up against some of these folks. But yeah, NXT still continues to show why it's the best women's division going is NXT. Yeah. I challenge you to find a better women's division. That doesn't mean that there's not women's divisions with strong talent. Like I could, you know, AEW's got great talent, TNA great talent, main roster WWE great talent, but NXT is just so much fun to watch the women's division and how much of the women's division is allowed to shine. You know, thank you, Shawn Michaels. Thank you so much, Shawn Michaels. Let's talk AEW. I don't know if you had a chance to catch Dynamite, but
just slightly.
Okay. Harley Cameron is really is finding her way into my heart in all of her promos and her matches. Like she didn't have to win a match ever, as long as you just keep her involved in some way, because she's beautiful, but that's like her number 5 trait. She's funny. She's athletic. She's got great timing. She sells very well in the ring. Like she'll sell. That match she had with Thunder was insane. That Dia de Muertos. By the way, Thunder still that was just, she came out in the skeleton match we talked about the last week. But she had a promo with Mina Shirakawa, who's coming back. Everybody wants Mina. And they had a boob shake off that was just, you haven't a chance to go watch this promo, you got to go watch it, just because how Harley is just aggressively shaking her chest. But the big thing, you got to watch Renee. You got to watch Renee try really hard not to lose it, not to break up laughing. Tremendous. Also, my girl Penelope has returned. She lost to the Britt Baker, and after Britt Baker's match, Serena Deeb came out. Again, keeping it positive. I don't like how Britt kind of said at the end, she's like, nobody cares about you, nobody cares about this match. I don't like that. You know, I don't like that. You don't bury your opponent. You lift them up. Plus, I think it would have made a huge statement if Penelope went over on Britt. without
Yes.
shenanigans, because I think Penelope's one that you could really push. And Tony, I know you're listening. We need Penelope Ford versus Lady Frost. Please book
Ooh.
that match. That would be tremendous. And if Penelope ends up at NXT, we need Penelope versus Slaruka. So, anyways, your thoughts on the AEW Collision? Anything about what do you think about any of those folks? Mariah May versus Anna Jay. Any thoughts? Anything? What sticks out to you?
Yeah. So first off, the Mina and Harley. That was so random. Like, I'm just casually watching. I'm like, oh, okay, so that happened. Okay, and then Renee's like, no, not here. And then they're just in the background. I'm like, that was freaking hilarious. I was like, oh my gosh. Of course Mina and Harley would do that. But I'm super stoked for the next match. And like, how many matches has it been? Like 2, 3 of Anna and Mariah?
Yeah, this is the third. This is their number 3.
There we go. Number 3.
Yeah.
I'm super hyped. But the only thing that I'm really mad about is the fact that I'm not going to be able to see this because I'm going to be at Hybrid this weekend.
Oh!
So, yeah, I'm going to be Hybrid. If y'all go to Hybrid, guys, say hi to your girl. Anyways, selfless promo. But, so I'm not going to be able to watch that match. I haven't been able to watch live, at least, any of the Mariah May and Anna Jay matches because I've either had competitions or I've been at a wrestling show or I've been busy. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, really? This might be the last time that Anna faces her too?
Yeah, I think so. No DQ also. What do you think about that? No DQ? And
do you
think we might see some shenanigans? Do you think some more people might show up?
Do you think
Carmelo might show up?
Oh my gosh. Please, I want Ty J back. Please. If you know me, you know how much I love Ty J. Like, oh my god. I miss Ty J. I hope Ty comes back. If she doesn't, it's okay.
Paper.
But
Angel, I will write another paper. I think you need to write a paper. Not only bring back Ty J, but it's time for AEW to introduce women's tag team titles.
Yes, let me find a paper.
Let's get writing on that immediately.
Right now, I got a pen.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about AEW, some of the other segments that happened?
Oh, yeah. So, if you also know me, you know how much I freaking love creepy, crazy gimmicks. And guess who had a return vignette? Well, she hasn't returned yet, but guess who had a return vignette? Freaking Julia Hart. I love Julia Hart so much. I was like, oh, and the little, did I make the team? You'll never be good enough. I was like, oh, okay. Tell her how you really feel. I was like, dang. But no, I am so hyped for Julia's return. I am ready with the capital R, I guess. I don't know.
Red E.
E.
I love how Julia Hart has embraced this character, this Blackheart character. And I love that the House of Black is starting to get some momentum again. But Julia's these vignettes like that. I liked the cheerleader character when she first introduced, but I could tell it was starting to get stale. And you could tell that Griff and the now Lexus King were kind of going their separate ways. But Julia really embraced and became part of that House of Black character, and she's embraced it. These little storylines. It's exactly what we need. I'm here for it. And it seems like, is she gonna go after Jamie Hayter? I personally, I think it would be cool to see her go after and put the scare into Mercedes Moné, but we'll have to see. Speaking of Mercedes Moné, did you get the number of that Statlander truck?
No, I didn't. But that was crazy.
And the fact that it's like she almost had to. It was funny too because I feel like if she didn't if she only tackled Mercedes, she wouldn't have been able to go through the wall. He had to kind of use Camille to break through the wall for the whole thing. How are you feeling about this feud, the Statlander Mercedes Moné feud?
Honestly, I haven't really gotten to see too much of it, but from what I've seen, I do honestly like. I was kind of bored at it. I'm not gonna lie, but like this week and like last week, I kind of started like getting back into. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna happen. This is gonna be a good match. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a good match. It's Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné, but I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. And I'm figuring Camille's probably gonna interfere.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, Pat, and I love Pepe saying this. I agree that we're waiting for Camille to turn on Mercedes, and then I just thought of something. If we introduce women's tag belts, how about a Camille Statlander tag team?
Ooh, that would be crazy.
That would be powerful. Money is better as a chaser. Monet is better as a chaser. Okay. Could be. I always like a heel at, the heel having the belt and everybody's trying to chase after them, but I don't know. Could it be Julia Hart, Jamie Hayter? Who's going to dethrone Monet? We'll have to see. Yep. Courtney says, take my Monet. Excellent. We got it. It's time for our
Izzy report.
Izzy report as booked on Mission Pro Spotlight, not just seen, but booked when we had our chat with Carolina Cruz, the Havana Hot Rod. We here, Angel Marie, Mine Runner, we booked the match. We got Carolina talking smack to everybody's BFF. Angel Marie got on her little BFF bat phone, the BFF phone. She started putting a bug in her ear. I started putting little posts out there to WrestleCade for Ladies Night Out 14, and it has been announced. It is official from our booking to the actual card. It is official. Izzy Moreno will be defending the Mission Pro Championship against Carolina Cruz at Ladies Night Out 14, December 1st. Chills. I'm so stoked. Yes, pat on our backs for booking this, but more so, I think it's like inevitable. This is going to be such a banger. This is going to be a true test for Izzy. Carolina is definitely going to be dominant in this match. Izzy's got her work cut out for her. I would not be shocked if we might see a title changing hands. Angel Marie, I know you're a super solid BFF. Do you agree or disagree?
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
This is my best friend we're talking about. I am not gonna root against my best friend no matter what. But seriously, I mean, I know Carolina Cruz for sure is going to put up a fight. She's not gonna go down without doing nothing. She's gonna go down swinging.
Yeah.
So I really think she is gonna get a run. Izzy's gonna get a run for her money, but I do see Izzy retaining the Mission Pro Championship against Carolina.
Either way, I either heard it both ways. When Mission Pro returns, I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of both of them. Looks like a lot of people looks like it's mixed in the chat. Steven says Izzy retains. Courtney says Carolina Cruz wins. We'll let Pepe be the final decider. Either way, we're going to see both of these a lot, I think, in Mission Pro when we come back in 2025. Yeah. I think that, and there's chemistry there. I think it's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. Also, her little birdie told me that it's a possibility that you may see the tag titles defended. I know the Money Birds have been talking some smack to Fire and Fury. So it'll be interesting to see. Pepe's going with the BFF era. But let's not talk about the future. Let's talk about the very, very, very recent past. And let's talk about the banger of the week.
Hold on to your Kulos Mission Pro fans. Lock on, it's the banger of the week.
I mean, they're becoming the Will Ospreys of NXT. It's like the banger of the week is going to be whatever match Julia and Stephanie Vacour are going to be in. Now, I've said this before. Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend are becoming one of my favorite tandems. But I'm wondering if it's mostly Lash Legend. Just Lash Legend. I want Lash Legend versus Rhea Ripley someday. This was such an incredible match, but I could watch a Julia Stephanie match all day long. You know, that would be tremendous for me. What did you think of the match, and what did you think of the opener?
Yeah, I was like, Sky! I was like, okay. I love metaphor, and I also am finding a new love for Julia and Stephanie because I literally just found out that they exist, and I already love them. I'm like, yes. But yeah, no, I was like, oh, okay, this match is cute. We love it. I was like, ooh, I love this match, and I think it does deserve banger of the week, 100%.
So both teams were working great in tandem. I mean, there were some spots there where, like, there was a spot where Jakara jumped off of Lash's shoulders. Actually, Lash kind of threw her, and she jumped off, did like a tope. There were a lot of cool spots, but Stephanie and Julia working well together. It's interesting too because you do have a sort of a mix of styles. Julia definitely has more of that Japanese strong style, where Stephanie's got that lucha libre style, but they both mesh very well. I did notice, I got to point out, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but there were some nods to some of my favorite tag teams in AEW. First of all, Julia and Stephanie did an Outrunner spot where they did the son of a bitch elbow drop. And, you know, I don't know if that was intended to be a nod to the Outrunners or not, but to me, that's exactly what I thought. And then they did a BTE or EVP trigger, just like the Young Bucks. And Julia had this like shit-eating grin after she did it. I think that was a nod to the Young Bucks. They've been watching some tapes, and I think that did you notice any of that?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I didn't know the first one, but then I saw the BTE NXT trigger, and I was like, oh, wait a dang minute. I know they did not just do that. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love that. I love whenever, like, wrestlers will, like, give, like, little homages to, like, other wrestlers and stuff. Like, that's so cool to me.
Yeah, I thought it was great. But let's also, Lash Legend carrying both of them. And just rocking them like that. I mean, to me, that's sheer power. And you know, if if you ever want to see, you know, this move that Stephanie does, I don't know if it's called the pelvic thrust. I don't know it's got a unique punishment to it. Maybe it's the hump day hassle. I don't know, but
that works.
I don't know. I've got to be careful. I got to be discreet in naming it because it could go a lot. It could go a bunch of different ways. Yeah. But the aftermath. If you thought if you didn't have chills already, deadline. We're going to get Julia and Stephanie face to face, and this is gonna be yeah, Angel's die. Yeah. She already puts up with my. At least I didn't do a slang-ism today, and I've been holding off on those.
No,
but that is just. What do you think about this, Stephanie versus Julia? What are your thoughts on this in NXT?
What I think about it is HYP. I am so hyped for this. I'm so ready. I'm like I said, I just barely discovered these two women, and I'm already like in love with their styles. Like, they're so unique and stuff. And so the fact that they're gonna clash against each other, I'm like, whoo! I am so ready. Ready.
We are eating very well. Thank you, Chef. Oh yeah, I gotta get an overlay with Shawn Michaels.
With the chef hat.
With the chef hat, because that is just he's cooking. And the, and the Lord, Jim Ross, this is going to be a barn burner. We are in for it. We're getting the goodie bag with this. This is going to be tremendous. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this whole thing. It's going to be great. The interesting thing too is how they've introduced these three. They signed 3 major talents, including Zarya, and I love that they're booking Zarya almost like a Brock Lesnar. You know, like she's just destroying fools. Could she? You think after we didn't talk about Keilani Jordan losing her rubber match to Fallon Henley, but
yeah,
I could see I would love Zarya to go after Fallon Henley and actually push to like she has to go through all of the members, she'll have before she finally can get to Fallon. And what do you think? Do you think she should just go right to Fallon Henley, or do you think she should be able to have a moment before she? What do you think?
Probably have her moment, build her up by making her face Jade, and then, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. JC. There we go.
JC. Yeah, JC.
Jade. Wait, that's not Jade. That's Jasmine.
Yeah.
Wrong name. I'm thinking of someone
JC
else.
Jane, and then go all the way to
Fallon Henley. There we go.
Zarya could take all 3 of them on, and I think that would be pretty awesome. Well, we looking at the time. I think it's time for us to go for a little swim. Maybe it's time for us to swim up the stream a little bit. I don't know what you think, but ladies and gentlemen, our guest is arriving in the studio. It is none other than La Pescadita. Lily, how are you doing? What?
Damn, that was some dance moves right there.
Yeah, those are awesome. I'm having way too much fun with that. But I mean, those are your real dance moves, right? It's not CGI or AI or anything like that. That's how you really break it down.
For a moment, I was like, how did you get that footage of me doing that? And then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. In between power lift sets, I could see Liliana just being like, breaking it down for us. You know the deadlift is just for you to do that squat dance.
100%.
That's all about. Well, Lily, we really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So excited to have you. So there's so many things we want to talk about. Of course, I'm Mind Runner, and with me is Angel Marie, my tag team Slay. We're the Slay squad here at Mission Pro Spotlight. Can't wait for when Mission Pro gets back in 2025. We'd love to see you in the ring and bringing it on. And that BFF of ours, Izzy Moreno, she's got an open challenge for that Mission Pro title even before we come back. So if Carolina Cruz can't defeat her on December 1st, right behind, maybe we should have La Pescadita should be showing up and maybe making a challenge.
Hell yeah. I'm always down. Well, I want to say thank you for having me, both of you. Like, I really appreciate it. And I'm really excited to be here, of course. And hell yeah, I'm always down. I'm always down for a little fight. I'm always down for a little throwdown. So
yes. I remember I saw you participate. I think it was NWA. It was like a gauntlet match. It was like insane gauntlet match. And you were in there for almost like you were like the Shawn Michaels. Like, I think you were in there for most of the match. And I love it. You were wrestling. You were still with your bucket hat and rocking and rolling. That was a tremendous match. Now, introducing you to the Mission Pro family. Most of the Mission Pro family, huge supporters of women's wrestling, specifically, the independent scene. We're all big supporters. Buy her merch, by the way. We'll have a little card at the end to talk about it. However,
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, do you sell the bucket hats?
I don't. I
think we need to start. Yep, we need to start get those Liliana. We need that little fish with the braids as the logo or something. But for
I really love that fish. The little, I loved it.
I'll send it to you. That could be your logo.
It's adorable.
I have a buddy of mine that's a cartoonist, and he helps me out with stuff like that. So I'll send that to you. But for those of you that are just now for the first time getting to know Liliana, we like to start off with a little thing called Insta Insanity, and it's totally not a ripoff on Sean Evans from Hot Ones, but we take a deep dive into your Instagram, and we try to find the backstories behind select tasteful photos.
Ooh, okay.
We made sure we chose tasteful photos. Sort of.
Yeah, don't choose the ratchet ones.
It's ratchet free. It's ratchet free. It's ratchet resistant. I'll say. We'll just put it that way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with La Pescadita, it is time to swim upstream in Insta Insanity.
Welcome! It's Insta Insanity!
All right. First of all, I love this. This is a before and after. Now, this wasn't necessarily a picture. This was more of a like a video. But talk to us about this.
Oh my God! Well, the picture on the left is me when I was 13. I was very self-conscious about the way that I looked. It was a really hard year that year. I think we can all relate to like a very hard year that we've had in our lives. And for me, it was that age. I like switched to a new school. I was living in Chicago. I was going to a Catholic school. And that day I decided this would be my fit, that I thought I would look the best in, but I was still very self-conscious. And I remember I hated this picture when I saw it. I absolutely hated it. Like, I hid it away. Like, I didn't want to look at it because I always thought that I was somebody who, like, when I was a kid, I always had broad shoulders as a girl. Mm-hmm. And I hated that. And I always wanted to like shrink myself and be like, like all the other girls who were more feminine, what I thought was feminine. But years later, like now that I'm older and after everything that I've done with athletics, especially with powerlifting, which was a second passion of mine, I'd like to say, I realized that was actually an asset for me. The way that my body was built was an asset. Mm-hmm. And I never thought of it that way until I started powerlifting. So that's why I made that like comparison to when I was a kid going through like one of the roughest years of my life up until now, with that same picture, like, 20 years later and just being like, damn, like I'm proud of my body, I'm proud of what I could do.
Is it on purpose that you chose, you have 13 years old, you flip the numbers to 31, you also flip the self-image, it's like and being comfortable with who you are, being happy with who you are. And it's such a great message for everybody. I know in the chat, people are agreeing. Our girl, Courtney, she's feeling your vibe.
I see you, Courtney. Yeah, it is. Everything on my Instagram, I'm not going to lie, is very intentional. Except recently, I just started posting just more naturally, like how I feel or whatever. But I used to overproduce my Instagram. The numbers mean something and all this crap. So
engagements.
Yeah, but so moving on to this freaking awesome picture of you powerlifting. I love that. So what is like your max squat or your max bench, if I'm saying that right? I'm like not that good with like powerlifting terms. But
hold on, Angel Marie. This is my chance to talk to you. She always gets on me when I try to say bussin' or skibbity riz or slay. Now I can use weightlifting terms. Now this is a squat. This is on, so this is her squat. We want to know what your max squat, your max bench, and do you deadlift as well?
Yes. Oh, I thought you would never ask. Of course. Of course. So my favorite lift is the squat because I'm good at it. And my body is like, certain bodies can squat certain ways. It like sometimes if you have longer legs or shorter legs, the way my body is built, I am a squatter, like just a naturally good squatter. My max squat is 391 pounds. Thank you very much. Yep, 391. I weigh 150, just to put it in perspective. Usually
God.
it's between 145 to 150.
Wow.
But so 391 pounds. My max bench, which is where you're laying down and you have the bar and you're like pushing it up, that's 176 pounds. And then my max deadlift, and I do a sumo deadlift, which is when your legs are kind of like more spread out versus like a conventional where they're together. So my deadlift is 407 pounds.
Wow.
Thank you, Pepe. Pepe said that's pretty good.
Yes.
Pepe, everybody in the chat, they're loving this one. That's don't let the tiny fish fool you. This tiny fish packs a punch. Absolutely, this is going to be tremendous. That's fantastic. And how does that translate into your wrestling?
Ooh, so much. I definitely have an advantage because of my strength. And what ended up happening also was that like I was doing powerlifting because I compete in powerlifting. And when I started wrestling, it was kind of like both things together, and it was really hard to do. I actually got like burnt out kind of this year, because I started doing more wrestling on the weekends. So and when you go wrestle on the weekends, you get slammed around, and then on Monday you go into the gym and you're supposed to lift 300 pounds or something. I was kind of doing that, and then I was like, damn, this is not sustainable. Like I need to like chill out a little bit. Hold on now. But just like finding balance. But in the ring, hell yeah, it helps so much because in the ring, I feel like with wrestling, since I've never done it before, you get to they say, hey, try doing this, try this move. And you try it and you're like, oh shit, I could do it. When most people like, oh, sorry, I don't know if I was allowed to cuss, but
we're past that point on YouTube. Okay. It's the first 10 minutes you have to be, gosh golly, Angel Marie. That is Skibbity Riz. Now you can fucking curse all you want. So
that was Ohio. Nah, I realized that I was able to do certain moves that others couldn't do on my first try because of the strength that I already, built with powerlifting. And then with wrestling, there's just so much that goes into it, not just the strength, but also the conditioning, the cardio. And then like you're in there working with somebody else, you got to lift them up. There's a lot that you have to do. And so powerlifting definitely was a big plus. Like when I switched over to kind of more focus on pro wrestling for sure.
Pepe says she's secretly a shark disguised as a fish. Yeah.
I am.
There you go.
I'm a tiburon.
That should be your new intro music. Should be tiburon. All right. I have to go with it. First of all, the star of these two pictures, but also this photo. I think, is that your dad?
That's my pops. Yep.
Your pops. It's art. That's like this. That's artwork. That should be a painting somewhere. The man and dog of some kind.
I love how you have these pictures. These are great pictures.
Yes.
That first picture with my dad. Actually, I took my very first promo picture in that photo session. It's like me with my arms crossed and like looking all hard and whatnot at the camera. And then the second, like my dad, I was like, get in the frame, Dad. I want to test this kind of like size of the frame and the image and the lighting to see if it looks good. And so he got in the frame, and then my dog got in the frame, and then they had a little moment. So that's
so odd. And then of course look at how happy the pooch is over there on the right.
Oh my God. He's happy because you know what? He became an American citizen. I got this dog from Mexico. He was a street dog. He was a puppy. And he was hanging out with the big dogs. He was the only little puppy. And I went to Mexico. Actually, my grandmother, when she passed away in 2021, we went to Mexico for her burial and her, the ceremony. But when I was there, I saw this little puppy walking around with these big dogs, and he was so cute. And I felt like it was a sign from my grandma. And like the one day, the day that she got buried, when we did a little ceremony, when we came back, this puppy was in my house, and they had like, actually some of my family fed him food and stuff. And he just stayed. He didn't go home. And my grandfather, he's 99 years old. And my grandfather saw him and was like, "Can we please take him back?" And I was like, "Yes, we're taking him back. I don't know how, but we're gonna do it." So yeah, so we bought him a plane ticket. He came back home. We take care of my grandfather as well for a period of time. He comes over to my house and stuff. We take care of him. But yeah, so that's where this pup came from. His name is Kosi.
Kosi. Congratulations, Kosi. Welcome to the United States of America. Now is he a Chicago pup now? Is he introduce him to Portillo's?
Of course. He likes more Mexican food though, you know.
I got you.
He's Mexican at heart. So
understood. That by the way, Courtney in the chat just rescued a dog as well. And so she's feeling it. She's feeling the vibe. Maybe they can be a tag team sometime.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh,
I love this picture.
Explain what's going on in here. That looks crazy.
I love this picture. Me and my dad went to Mexico last year for Mexican Independence Day, which I've never been to Mexico City during that time. So this is in the very famous Ángel de la Independencia, the Independence Day angel in Mexico City. And there was people selling masks. And I told my dad, I'm like, I want to buy a mask. And I actually bought the mask that I'm wearing. It's the I think it's the Rey Mysterio mask.
Looks like it.
If I'm not mistaken.
His looks like Rey Mysterio. Yours looks a little more like Commander. A little bit.
It could be.
Dralistico.
I don't remember. I feel bad for not remembering. But yeah, it's either or. But I told him, put on a mask. Let's lock up. He kind of got used to the random like wrestling. I'm like, yo, let me practice this lock on you. Let me practice this other thing on you.
What if your dad hollered off and did a poison rana on you?
He just gives me a poison rana out of nowhere.
And then he goes. Hey, you know, I've noticed too, like, and you know, you see a lot in CMLL and AAA, but I'd love to see in the United States wrestling more female luchadors, like with masks on. I'd love to see like a very like athlete, almost like Rey Mysterio or Rey Fenix kind of wrestler, female version with a mask. I think that would be a compelling character because you rarely see that. I mean, we'll get Dulce or somebody, Tormento will come up, or we'll get somebody, but like it'd be really cool. Not you. You got to keep the bucket hat though. To me, that's your signature. I love that. Yeah. But I don't know. We need more lucha ladies.
100%. I've met Sexy Star, formerly known as Sexy Star. Her name is Gatubela now. She's from AAA.
Yes.
She's awesome. She's great. She's such a good worker, and she's been making her rounds up here in the US. I was asking her about that because I started seeing her like pop up in like different big promotions. I'm like, God damn. I'm like, okay, I see you. I see you, girl. OMG. There, you guys really dug deep into the files, huh?
Is this club business club casual? This is after work going for drinks with the coworkers, right?
This was top tier like business casual clubbing era. So I'm a millennial, so that's, you know, the tippy top times of those moments was like 2009, 2010, 2011. So this was around that time for sure, 100%.
This is the tapas y cervezas gear, I guess. I don't know. That's the
hell yeah. Let me show you that somebody wanted to say hello.
Hello, the star.
Hola.
Hola. Say hi.
Hola, chiquito.
Why do dogs' feet smell like Fritos, by the way?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. He's so calm.
He's so chill.
He's
chulo.
Any chance of him coming to the ring? Maybe we should get a mask for him, a lucha mask, and have him.
I have a video on my Instagram actually of him with the mask on.
Oh really? Lucha Pero?
Yeah, we had to force it on him, of course.
Ooh.
Oh, that is awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
That's my baby.
I love this picture too. Same spot as earlier, but just you looking all cool.
Oh, I love it too. I told my dad, I'm like, please get this good angle for the love of God, please. And then he's like, okay. He could take good pictures. Ooh.
So if I believe this is Miss Jana Kai.
Janai Kai. Yeah.
Janai Kai. There you go.
Yeah.
I knew who I was talking about. Didn't get the name right, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Explain what was going on in this picture.
Well, that's when I first met her. I started kind of doing something where one of my trainers said that he wished he would have taken more pictures, as he was kind of going through his pro wrestling phase and era and stuff. And so, yes, the kick demon, Courtney. And I kind of took that and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start taking pictures of I want to take selfies with everybody. I don't care if it's weird. I don't care. I want to be like, yo, let me get a selfie with you. So this day, MLW went to Cicero Stadium in Chicago. Big ass show, huge show. And I wanted to meet Janai, and I knew she was gonna be there. I had seen her. I'd seen her stuff. She's crazy. She's brutal. She's hardcore. And I saw her, and we talked. And she was really cool. You meet people in the business, and it's really great when people take the time to talk to you and answer questions and get to know who you are in that moment. And it's crazy because it's like a pay-per-view, and she's busy and she's got to put the match together, but she gave me the time of day. And so we talked for a bit, and then we took I'm like, yo, can I take a selfie? She's like, yes. So we took a selfie, and I said, I hope to work you one day. I really would love to. And she's like, oh, it'll happen.
Oh,
yeah. And I was like,
she's
okay.
She's got to leave her mark. I mean, that there's a female wrestler checklist, and one of them is you got to get kicked by Janai Kai, by the Kid Demon. There's you got to get suplexed by Masha Slamovich.
Oh my god!
Kicked by Janai Kai, chopped by Jordan Blade, and you got to get I don't know. There's something where you got to get hit with fluorescent lights or something. But anyways, you get those checklists. You got to get put through a table by Heidi Howitzer.
There you go.
Now, once you get those checked off, you're an independent wrestler. Congratulations. But
exactly.
Kick Demon, we had there's a clip going around where she kicked the soul out of Brittany Brooks.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you see.
I saw that match.
Around, pow!
Jesus
she just
Christ.
knocked her out. Kick Demon's one of my favorite matches is Kick Demon versus Jody Threat, and she just goes to you know how like Japanese style has the chops to the point where their chest is red. Mm-hmm. She's like that with her kicks. She'll sit and do that bicycle kick and just boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, you're just like, ugh. How many fingers am I holding up? And you say Thursday, and then you just collapse. Unbelievable. Okay, what's this? Was this an album?
Oh yeah, that's my dad. That's my dad and his brother and his two sisters. So my dad actually made music back in the 70s and the 80s in Chicago. Yep. All my family came to Chicago back in the 70s. And so they migrated over, and they owned a bar back in the day. It's so late 70s, 80s vibe. It was in Logan Square, which is now very different from what it was back then. It used to be very dangerous, very hood. Now it's a lot more gentrified. But it's awesome. His story that he has with his family, and especially with the band, one of my dreams, because I love to write and I love to I'm a creative person. I like to do creative shit. Mm-hmm. And one of my big dreams is to one day do a Netflix or Hulu style documentary, or not even documentary, series about kind of that, the bar and his life and stuff. But yeah, so this is a cover of an album, or one of the photo shoots that they did as a band. So that's why look at those pants.
That's awesome. It's like the Hispanic mamas and papas, the mommies and poppies. It really has that 70s kind of vibe, I love it. The mommies and poppies. Instead of California dreaming, San Antonio dreaming. All the pollos brown.
No, their band name was called Los Atrevidos, which in English translates to how would you say atrevidos? The ones who dare to do something.
The adventurers.
Yeah, adventures, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's
Daredevils,
like that feeling of
adventurous.
like you dare to do that, you know,
Yeah.
so you're gonna do it. Like you don't care if people talk smack, you don't care if like you know you might get hurt, you don't care if you're scared, you're gonna do it. And so that's
Like
kind of what that
Daredevil.
word
Yeah,
means.
like Daredevil.
Daredevil, there you go. That's the word.
There you go.
Daredevil. The
Love
Daredevils.
that. Love that.
I
That's
never
so cool.
translated that before.
You've got
The
to. By the way, you've got to do that documentary. I think that would be tremendous, and just put like just a sample of it on YouTube or something. You can shop it around eventually. But yeah, I think that would be tremendous. I get hooked on those kind of documentaries. I'll be sitting there myself going like
Hell
with
yeah.
popcorn and whatnot.
I'll make it 10 seasons so you can binge the whole thing.
Please do.
Ooh,
Okay, what's
yes.
going on in here? Are you redoing a floor? We love that.
I'm acting like I am.
Oh,
It's a photo.
she's not a carpenter.
I know, right? It's a photo. This is the house that we have in Mexico. So my dad has a house in Mexico in our small town in El Pueblo, in Oaxaca, which is the southernmost part of Mexico where we're from. And he was remodeling the house. And so this is just an image. Was this when my grandmother passed away? It might have been that time when my grandmother passed away when we got Cosi. And so, yeah, so that's when we were over there. And that's part of the floor in one of the rooms. Yep, I'm laying some tile. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
She's like, okay.
I'm a hardworking Mexican. What can I say?
This is
Oh my
this
God.
is all for show. We don't want to spoil it, but this is all for but this looks like one of those home like flip it or flop it or whatever, you know,
yeah.
like
Yes.
one of those like but this is
100%.
of course this led to meeting Kochi. Did I get his name right?
Cosi.
Kosi. This is when
Kosi.
Kosi arrived. So he bought into your see, that's what professional wrestling is. Entertainment. You perform a personality, and here you're performing as a laborer of some house remodeler.
I gotta sell the
The gimmick.
sell the character. Yeah, sell the gimmick.
Mhm.
So there I am right there.
Very cool. And I like this.
Yes. This is so part of my shoot job I'm an audio producer.
Mhm.
So I'm an associate producer at a media company called Futuro Media. And one of the branches that we have is Latino USA. We work with companies like Spotify, Apple, and we do podcasts on many different topics. This Latino USA is a weekly show. So we publish maybe 2 or 3 shows. It varies in time limit. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes. But this was actually a story that I dedicated to my aunt and my uncle during COVID. Unfortunately, both my aunt and my uncle, who you see in the picture, both passed away during COVID, the height of COVID. This was like 2020. And so this was just a tribute to their lives. And it's like a story of, what happened when my family found out that they got COVID, and then how we had to transport their bodies back to Mexico, which was very hard to do at the time.
I bet.
And we did not cremate their bodies because a lot of the times, in order to get the bodies back to Mexico, all the bodies had to be cremated. But we were able to basically find a way to not get them cremated, which was against what they, their will, what they wanted to do. And then they got back to the pueblo, and we buried them, and it was a process. And so I feel like this audio, which by the way is on my link tree on my bio in my Instagram, it's a 30-minute listen. So for anybody who has time and wants to listen to something that's truly heartfelt, a heartfelt tribute, and maybe has some kind of experience that they can relate to this, they can check that out in my link tree. But this is what this is, from Chicago to Oaxaca.
You have such a fascinating backstory and the culture in your family too. Like how much of that like background do you kind of enhances your wrestling, or do you bring some of that into your character a little bit, or is that and then also I love that you're like, wrestling's not just your only creative endeavor. You've got so many other brilliant ideas. And I just think does that really infuse with your character?
100%. And I think it's helped a lot. But, because I did not grow up watching wrestling, I feel like I had a disadvantage with developing my character and kind of seeing where things fit, like in the bigger picture of wrestling, like in a match, for example, like where to fit my character moments during a match. That's something that has always been very challenging for me. And I feel like just recently I started kind of to pay more attention to the in-betweens and the moments during a match to insert more character work. Of course, as a creative and having a shoot job doing that, like doing creative stuff, writing stories and stuff like that. I feel like, yeah, definitely I have again, it's like a little edge that I have, you know, where I have an upper hand because I come from that industry, you know, I guess. So my brain's always learning, pero my brain's always trying to put stuff together. But at the same time, pro wrestling, I feel, is so challenging, you know, it's so challenging. And I commend pro wrestlers. Like, it was not easy to get into this industry, into this business. I always had a hard time calling myself a pro wrestler, honestly. Like, when I started training, I was like, I don't feel like I earned that yet. Like, I don't think that I have, you know, the reward of calling myself that, because there's just so many aspects, including the storytelling and the character aspect, that I know I had to learn. But yeah, all in all, it definitely does help, you know, having that creative kind of like background.
What do you think? I mean, aside from getting kicked by Janai Kai, what do you think? Like, because that imposter syndrome is real. I mean, we've talked to Izzy, we've talked to so many wrestlers who, you know, Nair Robles, they all of a sudden wake up, hey, I'm a wrestler. Like, but you know, and in a way, like the moment you have your first show kind of makes that possible. But to you, what do you think it would take for you to declare yourself, I am a wrestler?
I think for me, well, what it took for me definitely was just having my first match. I think that was like the first step of saying, okay, cool. Like, okay, I'm a person who wrestles. Instead of saying I am a pro wrestler, I was like, well, I'm a person who wrestles, or I'm a pro wrestling trainee. Like, that's what I would always say. I think I don't want to just say what, you know, the generic answer of like, it's reps, but I really do feel like it's like reps. It's experiences that you get through every rep that you do, whether it's in training, having matches in front of your peers, or having matches at bigger shows, or facing people like Janai Kai and getting the shit kicked out of me. Like, I feel like every single match has always been like a little step forward. But I also feel like with pro wrestling, in my case, there have been very specific moments where I said, oh damn, now I know I earned a stripe. Like, I'm a person who earned her stripe doing that match, or in that moment. I have two instances where I feel like I earned that, or at least one where two that I feel like I earned that stripe. One of them was when I had my first ladder match. It was a 5-way scramble at Chicago Style Wrestling. Shout out to Chicago Style Wrestling. That's my home in Chicago. And I had a ladder match, and I was scared, really, really scared, because I was going against 4 other girls who were like, you know, crazy. And I got power bombed on a ladder by Maggie Lee, which you all may know Maggie Lee. But I got power bombed on the ladder, and it was crazy. Like, the feeling that I walked away from in that match, I was like, I earned that shit, because I wanted to make sure that I made everybody look good, and I took my bumps, you know, like I wanted to make sure I wasn't like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, let's go. And the second time that I felt like I earned another stripe was when I had a chairs match. It's recent, also in Chicago Style Wrestling, against Chris Miller, my nemesis. Ooh. And the match is on YouTube. Oh no, the match is on IWTV. But I was really scared during that time, because I had come back from like a injury on my upper back neck area, which happened 2 weeks before that. So I almost wanted to pull out of this match. Long story short, I told Chris Miller what happened, you know, and we worked around it. And I face bumped the hell out of myself during that match. I took no back bumps. Nice. But it was awesome. And I felt like I walked away, and I was like, damn, like I just did that. So when imposter syndrome is real. Like, it could take those big moments, but it could also take little moments over time that make you say like, okay, I'm a pro wrestler now.
when your back hurts, take the face bump.
Hell yeah, 100%.
Looks like Ethan in the chat. Yeah, he put this a while back. I says, "Look at this hot woman. We love you, fam. We miss you. Come back to JWA."
I know Ethan.
He said it's Mike and Ethan from JWA are saying hello.
Hi, Mike and Ethan. What's up? What's up? They have to say hi. Thank you so much. Buy my merch.
People want you on Mission Pro. We want to when Mission Pro comes back in 2025. A lot of cool stuff coming in there. Got to talk about this picture though.
Oh my god. Soo Young. Soo motherfucking Young.
Yeah, you look a little unsure of yourself here.
It's that imposter syndrome shit that we were just talking about. That match, I was like, oh my god, can I really do this? Like, having that match with Sue I walked away banged up from that match because this woman goes hard. Like I felt everything. I think I almost like messed up a pinky too, like because she like dove on me and like my pinky got like all messed up. I was like, Jesus. But yeah, this match was totally insane. That was post match. I won the belt from her, but it was not easy. It was again one of the most challenging matches that I've ever had, and it was my first time facing a name, and so like being able to be in the ring with her was just pure insanity.
The Soo Young rub, yeah, I love it. The Soo,
Young
she looks like she's really not happy about handing that belt over to you.
No, she was pissed.
Now I pitched this on social media, and I know that you have a history with her, but we need two Chicago girls to form a tag team. We need you and Missa Kate. I think would be a great. I know you guys. Maybe we should, or maybe there should be a feud for Miss Chicago. You know who's the queen of the bean, if you will.
Oh my gosh!
You know, maybe we should have
a. Oof. Yeah, I'm down for that. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's something that has definitely, crossed my mind. She's one of the first people that when I first got into pro wrestling, I looked up the best people in Chicago and I saw her name on it, like her name in social media. And I was like, who's this? And I started watching her stuff and I was like, damn, I want to work with her, one of these days. And I had the pleasure of working with her several times, not just at Chicago Style Wrestling or it's just Chicago Style Wrestling, but also at Gali Lucha Libre, which is in Chicago as well. And it's been fun. She's a champ there at Gali. And she's crazy. She I don't know if you guys know this, but she used to play soccer too, and I had a soccer background. And so we actually just talked about forming a soccer team. I was like, we should make a soccer team with all pro wrestlers. Like that'd be fun. But I won't be goalie though.
I hate goalie.
I hate goalie.
You get blamed if they score a goal, you're in trouble. But ball passed 5 other people before it got to me, and I'm the one to blame. I hate being goalie. Yeah, I'll be a forward, whatever. But I think, and you know what? Of course, Missa Kate is no stranger to Mission Pro. I think it'd be awesome if maybe when Mission Pro, when Resurrection, whatever we call Mission Pro's first event back, I cannot confirm or deny what it's going to be called. You didn't hear what I almost said. But when Resurrection comes back, we could have Missa Kate, we could have Lily and Missa, the soccer. Maybe I don't know if would you do a soccer gimmick or more of a Chicago nod. And I got to ask you, because my wife is Chicago.
Ooh.
Cubs or White Sox?
White Sox. Except they suck.
Okay.
Except they suck. So I can't claim them, All
right. Blackhawks fan. Chicago Blackhawks, the hockey okay. And
I don't really watch hockey too much, but yeah, I'm a bandwagoner when it comes to that. If they win, I'll be like, hell yeah, Blackhawks!
We'll get the Chicago girls to come down for a Mission Pro for when Mission Pro returns, and maybe you and Missa can road trip. Oh, that's another thing. To officially be a wrestler, we need to find that list. You got to get a picture with Bucky the Beaver at Bucky's. So then you can check it off. What? Yes. I'm officially a Missa will know exactly what you're talking about. When you come to Texas, You got to go to Buc-ee's. Just look up Buc-ee's is the most ridiculous gas station you'll ever go to. Basically, they took a gas station and added a Walmart to it.
Oh,
Is
damn.
that accurate, Angel?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I would say. And there's a big old beaver at the front.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's Buc-ee's. So you got to get your picture taken with Buc-ee. I want to ask you, kind of swerving a little serious, but also just get your take on it.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It also feels like it's a great time to get into professional wrestling.
Oh,
It
yeah.
feels like women's wrestling is really emerging into a golden age. Do you feel like, in talking with other wrestlers, I know you weren't as much into wrestling when you were younger, but with talking with other wrestlers, in the past, female wrestlers, it was not a very safe space. There was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of negative. There was a lot of stuff. And then, of course, on top of that, the industry used to be it still can be very cutthroat. How do you feel about the industry, just from your perspective right now? Do you feel like safe? You feel safe locker rooms, supportive locker rooms? Do you feel like women's wrestling is heading in the right direction? Is there a lot more work we need to go? What are your just overall thoughts on what the state of women's wrestling?
Well, I'll tell you from my perspective as somebody who's done team sports.
Yeah.
Because I always like touching on this topic. If you have never done team sports, it's really hard for you to understand how competitive it can get, and how you can feel like you deserve something, and in reality, you didn't, or maybe you worked your butt off, and then you don't get that opportunity and you get benched.
Yeah.
So unless you have been in team sports, and again, if you have competed at a higher level in a team sport, for example, then you have coaches who are really like cutthroat. They're very hardcore, and you're not going to get a pat on the back for every single little good thing that you do.
Yeah.
And even if you do something good, they might not acknowledge it. But that's just kind of like, that's what it is, playing at a higher level. And it's not just like it's also forming a part of the team and working as a team and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the one critique that I have about not just women's wrestling, but I feel like just pro wrestling in general, is that a lot of people think that they could just do it. And you can't. Like, people say it's for everybody. I believe that it's not for everybody. And that might be a controversial take. But at the end of the day, it just goes back to my respect that I have for this business. Like, I literally, never watched it as a kid, like, we talked about. And so I felt like I had to work that much harder to call myself a pro wrestler and to earn that title of a pro wrestler. But I also know that, and I feel like when you're in it, you kind of know this as a truth. You might work your ass off, and you might be somebody who does all these things that you're working, you're traveling, you're doing this, and you still might get an opportunity, and it really sucks. Yeah. Maybe you might be traveling so much, or you show up to a show, and you might not get used. And it happens a lot more to men than women, actually, because women and men, it's very saturated. There's so many men who are trying to get into this. And I've seen my man go through it. He shows up to a show, goes early for setup, and nothing. He doesn't get anything. On me, on the other hand, as a woman in wrestling, it's a lot easier because I show up and they need women. They need women. So I show up and I get an opportunity faster than my man, or than men in general. So to tie this back to women's wrestling and how it's progressing, 100% it's progressing. Like, I see it on TV. I see the indie scene, which I absolutely love. And I see that women's wrestling athletically is just getting better and better. And the storylines are getting better on TV too. Especially the athleticism. That's a big one, And so that is a big difference from what it was years ago, from what I have seen so far. Because I like to study matches and things from, back in the day. And I see how women were treated, or the type of matches that they would have back in the day, exactly. Yeah. Bra and panties matches, 100%. Like, and the thing is that's that's the space that we had at that time. So it's like, if I have 2 minutes or 3 minutes to do a bra and panties match back in the day, just so I can get my shit in, I'm gonna do it, you know. But the thing is, now it has changed so much. But like, to just kind of wrap up my thought, definitely women's wrestling has progressed a lot, but I think that there's a lot of people who are who call themselves pro wrestlers and think they deserve certain things without actually putting in the work. It's a double-edged sword. And then they don't get it, and then comparison is a thief of joy. And so like you start comparing yourself to others, and it's like, oh my God. So the best thing to do that I have done, that I have experienced, is you have to have your people. Like, you have to have your close group of people. For me, it's just my man and like a few other wrestlers that are in our little group of people, maybe 2 or 3 people, that like, if something's messed up, like, I can tell my man, like, yo, this is messed up. Am I crazy, or like, is this messed up? He's like, no, that's messed up. You know?
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, cool. I'm not crazy. Like, this is messed up. But sometimes there's like things that you can't. It is what it is. You know, it's the same thing with looks. You know, somebody who has a certain look might get looked at than somebody else who has a different look. But maybe that promoter and that specific promotion is looking for this, and maybe they like this, and so they're going to go for this. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast, you know. And understanding that is kind of like something that you need to accept, you know, getting into this sport. But I always like to maintain a positive attitude. I always say, you know what, like, I'm still going to work my butt off. I'm going to keep posting my content and like sharing my journey. That's kind of the biggest thing that I like to do with social media, like sharing what I'm doing. A lot of people say, oh my God, like I'm so old, I can't pro wrestle. Nah, bro. I started pro wrestling when I was 30. Okay. And there's people who are like, oh my God, I'm so old, and they're not even 30. I'm like, shut up.
They're like the Dustin Rhodes and Sting. I mean, Dustin's still wrestling in his 50s. I mean, Jericho, you got all these people wrestling. I mean, come on now. Let's get it going. Well, Yana, we got to have you back. I mean, we could talk for another hour, I think, about this. In fact, we have an panel. I'd love to have you part of it on wrestlers starting out. And a lot of what you shared, I think, is important to talk about, is when, you know, if you're thinking about becoming a women's wrestler, what are things to think about, and what's some advice, and your perspective, I think, would be tremendous. I want to close this out. We always like to close out with the quote of the week, and this one is we started just pro wrestlers, but we've been adding some amateur wrestlers and collegiate wrestlers too. And this is Kylie Williams. She says, "I worked until my idols became my competition," and I just love that quote. You know, so like,
I love it.
You know, like Lily, you had a selfie with Janai Kai, the Kick Demon. We're looking forward to Pescadita versus the Kick Demon in 2025, if not sooner.
And that already happened. I wrestled her.
You did. And how did it feel?
It hurt.
Would you
painful?
Would you rather take that ladder bump or a kick from Janai Kai?
Man, they both suck. You can't give me that. You can't give me that comparison.
Okay, all right. A chop from Minoru Suzuki or a kick from Janai Kai?
Oh my God. I don't know. They both hurt. She kicks really hard.
And I think it's not just the kick, but the smile after, because she takes a little delight at the end when she's like, you know, she just has that smile at the end. Anyway,
exactly.
Well, thank you so 100%. Much. We're gonna make sure everybody gets a chance to follow you. Go look at your link tree. We got your major socials here.
Yes.
The Pescadita 09, TikTok, X, Instagram. Is this all accurate?
That's perfect.
Make sure you follow her, and of course, all her killer dance moves as well. Totally not CGI.
This is for real. Like, hey.
Exactly. And your smile, everybody. And I agree. Like, that's something that I noticed in a lot of your pictures, and a lot of that even in your wrestling, you do have that positive energy that I think that we're translating. It communicates and bonds with the audience. You know, it's a great connection that you make. Yeah, exactly. You are awesome. Exactly. So thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you back very soon. On behalf of La Pescadita and Angel Marie, I am Mind Runner, and we will see you, Mission Pro family. We will see you.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.